Hi everyone, it's Marty Harger, and thank you for joining me today. It is a time of year here where I live in the mountains. It's really cold, and I practiced yoga this morning, but I'm actually dressed for the day with a turtleneck and a warm sweater. And I hope wherever you are is warmer than where I am because it's been in the in the low double digits tonight or yesterday and today. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you about a big event that's coming up this Saturday, the winter solstice. And I thought it might be interesting. I know some of you are leading essential yoga workshops this weekend. Some of you are going to be incorporating the doTERRA essential oils into some kind of a winter solstice practice that you may have for your students. And as you know, the winter solstice on Saturday, December 21st here in the Northern Hemisphere is the shortest day of the year. It's actually the darkest day of the year. And it is an interesting time because it's about the rebirth of the sun. And it's actually the time when we know that there's a lot of energy available to us to look at the ideas of regeneration, of renewal, and of self-reflection. And so I thought it might be interesting today to talk a little bit about this celebration, the winter solstice, or the beginning of the Yule season, some of the essential oils that we can incorporate into our yoga practice, whether that be a class we're teaching, an essential yoga program workshop, or just your home practice. And some of the oils that might provide some good ideas for a simple practice that can help you focus on this feeling of regeneration and the idea that we can come into this winter season renewed and ready. So part of this is we need to be thinking about the winter of what is it we want to let go of in the winter season. It's also obviously appropriate as we head into a new decade to be thinking about these questions. But we want to think about, what do I want to take away from my life that is no longer working for me in terms of relationships, activities, and thoughts. And so I want you to think a little bit about these essential oils and how we might incorporate them for our emotional well-being. They make a great tool for journaling. They make a great tool for a group that's gathered for yoga to have a pen and paper next to their yoga mat and to think about passing an oil around and asking them to think about what that aroma evokes for them. So the first one I'm going to talk about is basil essential oil. And basil is one that has a beautiful aroma. Of course, those of us that like having a caprese salad know that basil is one of the core ingredients. It's a powerful aroma. Wonderful for muscle tension and release. It is great for an occasional earache, just to put behind the ear, the mastoid process, and back in or around the actual ears itself. I love the fact that the basil is such a clean scent. And what we want to know about basil, it's actually the oil of renewal. So this is an oil that's beneficial for us with a smell. Helps us to relax. It helps us relax our heart, relax our mind, and it physically is a great choice to use with a carrier oil to help relax the body. So great for muscle tension and anything like that. But when we're under a lot of mental strain, which can happen at this time of year as we're nearing the holiday season, a lot of people feel this pressure to have the perfect holiday. And so we put ourselves under a lot of pressure and time deadlines to get things done. You may have had some of that today. I know I have had some of that this week. And basil is one that lets us focus on this whole idea of rejuvenation, revitalizing ourselves. It gives us a strength to bring hope and optimism into our lives. And so, you know, at this time of year, particularly for the winter solstice, when it's dark most of the day, more of the day than it is light, here again in the Northern Hemisphere, we need an oil that can help us feel energized, that can help us bring up our emotion and feel rested and rejuvenated. And basil essential oil is a great choice for that. So again, I would just encourage you, if you're using it in yoga, you're going to take a drop or two. You could pass it around, have everybody take a drop, take a nice deep inhalation. Think about what you want to let go of. Think about what you're ready to create space for as you regenerate yourself and bring more strength and energy and power into what may feel like a depleted energy sometimes coming up into this date. I love that. The second oil I'm going to talk about today is peppermint essential oil. Peppermint is one of our foundational essential oils. Again, it's a great choice to share. We just want to make sure we don't touch our eyes after we put a drop of peppermint into our hands. This makes a good one to put in some water, perhaps, that you're going to share with people. Peppermint and basil together are a beautiful combination for this time of year to help protect people from any kind of occasional flus or colds or coughs that may be out in a yoga studio. Peppermint is uplifting. It's the oil of the buoyant heart. So it allows us to feel energized. And again, how can we renew ourselves with the winter solstice? So the darkness may make us feel more introspective. These two oils together may help us look at the beauty of darkness and what that allows us to do, which is to quiet our mind and to regroup and to think about how we want to move forward in letting go of the things that are not appropriate for us any longer. The relationships, the people, the words, the thinking, the actions that we've taken, that we're ready to close out the year and move them on. The third essential oil I want to talk about is red mandarin. Now, many of you have green mandarin, and some of you, I hope, have red mandarin, which was, I believe, a product of the month, free oil for many of us earlier this year. And red mandarin is an interesting oil to add to this combination of basil and peppermint. Red mandarin is an oil that is the oil of childlike perspective. So when we think about the feeling of heavy, burdened, and we want to support ourselves with the basil, we want to open up to a buoyant heart energy with the peppermint. Now we layer on top of that the red mandarin, and here we have an oil that gives us a unique perspective. It actually encourages us to kind of flash back to feeling like a child or parenting a child and watching in wonder for all the many things that are around us. It kind of puts us in more a place of self-reflection and gratitude, which I think is a great thing to think about, because it's particularly indicated for diffusing the red mandarin in an environment where we may feel physically exhausted or worn out or depleted. And sometimes, again, at this time of year, a time that's supposed to be full of joy, we can run ourselves a little bit ragged, running around, not going to yoga, not practicing the things we know that build us up and support us in this important time where we have some deadlines and trying to bring joy to other people. So if you're feeling that you want to get rid of the feeling of discouragement, you want to get rid of frustration or anything that's really worrying you and weighing you down this holiday season, as you move into the winter solstice, the red mandarin would be a fantastic choice to incorporate. It's actually suggested as one that helps the weary and careworn parent and helps us again refocus on the beauty that children show us, their simplicity, the happiness that they find in the simplest little things. Building a snowman, somebody who may just find joy picking up a new toy or petting a dog or just smiling and getting a smile back. So as we think about those simple things that help us to self-reflect during the winter solstice, to basically look at the idea of how we can regenerate our energy, and we can actually go out and renew that energy this time of year in the darkest day of the year. The basil, the peppermint, and the red mandarin are actually a wonderful combo. And I think that you might even consider making a blend with them. So if you were looking for a simple idea for your yoga class or practice, what I would do is I would incorporate the basil essential oil. I would put that on topically. I would encourage people to use it as a respiratory opener. You could apply it even in Shavasana. Basil is a deep grounding aroma and one that is very helpful for people who are trying to get that feeling of renewal. I would then put perhaps peppermint, either in combination with red mandarin in the diffuser, or I would do peppermint in water and have people sip that. As they take in the sip, they're going to smell that aroma. It's going to lighten them up, make them feel more buoyant, more lighthearted in this holiday season and during the winter solstice. And finally, with the red mandarin, I think this is a beautiful oil to diffuse. Help bring that childlike wonder into the falling snow or the weather that may be challenging wherever you are today. If it is not, maybe the idea that the darkness, some people don't like the darkness and they might like a little sunshine that red mandarin might offer. So as you move into your winter solstice practices, whether those are at home, in a class, or a yoga studio. I hope you'll consider using these 3 doTERRA essential oils that are there to help us rejuvenate and renew and create an opportunity for self-reflection this weekend. Take care, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your holiday time. I'll look forward to talking to you again next week. Namaste.